Hey everybody, this is Sherry with CPR Craft Pray Repeat, and I'm here today with an image from Imagine That Digi-Stamp called Puppy Chaise Valentine. And I'm going to make sure that I put all of the colors that I use on the screen for you, and any of the products that I use I will also put down below, and I will put links in the description box for everything. Some of them may be affiliate links. They do not cost you anymore, but they help me earn a little bit of money to put toward my channel. So I will have all of that in the description box below. Also, if you use the code SHERRY15, all caps, SHERRY 15, on any order over $5 at Imagine That Digi-Stamp, you get 15% off your order. And she has some amazing stuff, and right now she has an adorable Valentine set, and a part of the proceeds from that set go to the Ronald McDonald House. And because she had to stay there when one of her kids were younger, and I also have stayed there when Mariah had her second open heart surgery. We got Mariah the last week of June, and the first week of July she had to have her second open heart surgery. So, you know, we had our four, we had 2 foster children that we had for 5 years, and so there was a lot of us, and you know, my husband had to go back and forth, and when he did come, you know, the kids would come and they would stay, and the people at Ronald McDonald House were just amazing. So if you're looking for some cute Valentine stamps that you can get right away and you don't have to wait for the order to come in the mail, I suggest going to Imagine That Digi-Stamp. And I'm just collaring up my puppy by putting my lightest color first and giving me my base coat. Then going in with E57 as my darkest and just putting that on where the darkest shadows would be. Then moving down to E55, 53, and then going over everything again with E51 to just blend it all together. And I colored the entire puppy the same way I colored the head, and I didn't think you would want to sit here and watch me for 10 minutes color the exact same way, so I did cut out some of it so that you didn't have to sit through the whole thing, but I colored it just like I did the puppy's face. And isn't he cute? It's so adorable. And I had a lot of fun coloring him. I really did. And right now I'm getting ready to go to Imagine That Digi-Stamp to see if they have a sad puppy, which this is just not the way I wanted to spend my day today, but I need to make a sympathy card for a family whose the dad was killed in an auto accident. He's one of the men that my husband works with, and a lady pulled out in front of him and it threw his truck, and the truck rolled over and stuff, and he didn't survive. And so he loved his dogs, his wife and his dogs, so my husband asked if I would make a sympathy card with, you know, like a sad puppy or something on it. And so I'm gonna go look for an image, and I'm just dreading it. But if you all could keep that family in your prayers, because I can't fathom the grief they're going through right now, I would appreciate it. And so I'm just cleaning up here where I went over slightly, and you know, things like that, because you know, I don't see very well, so I make sure that, you know, I clear up, you know, I get down real close and look real good to make sure where I went over, if I, you know, I can fix it and everything. Now, I just wanted to do, because I wanted this to be a Valentine's Day card, I wanted to do some pink and red. So I did the little pillow that the puppy's head is resting on in pink, and then I do the piping trim on the edge of the chaise, also in the pink. And I used RV 21, 23, and 25. Those colors blend together really well. But I do sorry. It does not to get me wound up today. I don't know. I don't know where my head is. But I do a lot of some tip to tip action here on the reds, and I had a heck of a time, guys. I don't know what the problem was, because I started out with R20, 22, and 24, and my R24 was not working, and I know that I filled it, so I don't know what the problem is. And then went to do my R22 right there, and it wouldn't work, and I'm like, what in the world? And so thank goodness for that Sandy Allnox heck chart, because that's how I was able to find the R05 and the R08 to blend with the R20 that I had already put down. And they blended great. I mean, they worked really good. It's just, I don't know what's going on with my Copics, and I'm getting really frustrated. I keep them laying flat all the time, except for when, you know, I'm using them. And then I keep them in a case, and I pull the case out and I sit them up, and that's the only time they're upright. So, you know, I don't know if anybody knows what I could be doing wrong with my Copics. I would really appreciate the advice, because these things are expensive and I don't want to have to replace them. And, you know, I've got new nibs, and I've kept those two Copics out. I'm going to replace the nibs, which that isn't cheap either. And then, you know, make sure that, you know, they have plenty of ink, which they should. I don't know why they wouldn't, but so if anybody knows what I'm doing wrong or something, if you could help, you know, I would really appreciate it, because I'm just all kinds of confused, because the R20, 22, 24, and 27 and 29 are one of my favorite red combinations. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the problem is. And there I just did a little tip to tip to help it blend again really good. And it just, I like doing that tip to tip. It just like gives you another whole color. It's really, you know, I mean, if you have two markers but don't have a third one to blend in there, do that tip to tip. I really recommend it, because it's just, by the time you put the two colors together, it gives you the perfect bridge to the next one. So I really like it, and I really recommend trying it if you haven't. It's really been a big help to me lately, especially since, you know, I've been having so much trouble with my markers. And so I'm just going ahead and finishing up the couch, and then the next, I'll finish up the couch in all of the reds, and then I go in, and that part that would be the piping on the side of the, I'm calling it piping. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's called. The trim, maybe? I don't know what to call it. I go ahead and go back in and do in pink, just to, you know, add it all in and make it flow a little better. So you'll see me go back in a minute with the RVs and go back in and finish up the couch. And there are some places on the puppy where he's sitting on the couch, and it's just such a tiny spot that I just went ahead and put my darkest shadow, or my darkest color there, because it would have been dark and shaded anyways from the puppy sitting on top of it. And I just left it like that. I know you wouldn't have used your lightest. I could have maybe used my mid-tone, but I thought that the darkest would look the best. And I'm cleaning up where I went over anywhere, and of course I always go over, so I always have to clean up. And but you know, and the reds are really hard to clean up, so you have to be really careful with them. You know, they will bleed like crazy. And so here's where I go in and I put the rest of the RV in to just tie in the pillow. And but that little puppy just wins my heart. And then the little paw prints were part of the set that came with it. And you know, when you get something from her, most of the time, which it's very rare that there's just one image, most of the time it's that image, and then there's additional images that you can add with it, and then there's already colored images that you can use if you don't want to color. So I mean, you can't beat it. If you haven't checked out Imagine That Digi Stamp, I really recommend it, guys. Christy is great, and her images are awesome, and I just love playing with them. And here I am. I'm going to make my own sentiment, so I just use my T-square ruler, my EK Tools writing pen, and I had practiced and practiced to make sure I could kind of get it the way I wanted. I think I write too big, but it still came out cute, and I liked it. And I just go back in afterwards and erase the pencil line. And this is the first time that I have used I think it's the first time I've actually even used a stencil. And an actual stencil. I think I've played with some that I've, punched out or something, but I've never used texture paste. So this was really cool. I've been wanting to use this. I got that stencil specifically to do with a puppy card. And now I should have tacked it down better than I did, because you see there where it moved. So I should have put some extra tape on. And you have to let it dry, and I put it aside for the night because I did it in the evening, but I don't think it would take very long for it to dry, and you could probably use your heat gun to speed it up a little bit. But it was so cool to touch. So cool. I like the way it felt, and I will definitely be trying to use that, use more stencils, because it was fun. It was just a lot of fun. It was like decorating a cake. All right, everybody, remember to practice your CPR Craft Pray Repeat. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Bye.